Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different revelations as well as saga-wide implications in this film by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, to me, what's really exciting about this movie is that J.J. Abrams will be introducing a lot of callbacks to the originals and the prequels in a very specific and unique way that fans have never seen before on the big screen and or in Star Wars history, which honestly, guys, to me, that speaks volumes by J.J. and Chris Terrio, that they are really trying their very best and their very hardest in order to really make this film be the best of the sequel trilogy. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to various concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very intriguing for episode 9. Now, specifically shot descriptions consisting of both Rey and Kylo Ren getting into an argument during a pause between their lightsaber duel, where it's explained that Rey senses conflict within Kylo Ren and that she is exposing that conflict to Kylo Ren verbally, where Kylo is said to act in an aggressive way of telling Rey that he will not make the same mistake as his grandfather and that she is the cause of the conflict. The next describes Kylo Ren sprinting toward Rey, where he attempts to strike her down, where Rey is said to jump and perform a backflip in mid-air, where Rey ignites her lightsaber, slicing Kylo's back lightly, where it's said that she lands on top of a downed TIE fighter in the middle of the First Order battlefield. It's said that Kylo is now on his knees, where half of his cape is cut off as it blows away with the wind, where Kylo is said to clash his lightsaber with Rey's, where the environment around them begins to change to the world of Tatooine, now in front of the home of Luke Skywalker, that being the Lars homestead, with the binary sunset in the background. It's described that later on during the scene, Rey is able to strike Kylo's helmet, causing a bit of damage, revealing one of his eyes in the process, similar to what was done with Captain Phasma by Finn in The Last Jedi. The next goes over Kylo using the Force Repulse technique, causing Rey to fall down on the ground where the sand and dust is said to create visibility issues for Rey. It's described that this is where Kylo makes a couple of surprise attacks before they lock sabers again as everything around them flickers before returning to the First Order battlefield. So, I want to go over a couple of parts about this, obviously, because this is yet again another one involving the flash fights. Now, a lot of people have been expressing mixed reactions on the flash fights. In my point of view, it's a very good attempt by J.J. Abrams in order to bring down, something very interesting into the Star Wars universe that fans have never experienced before on the big screen. So, going back to the planet of Tatooine, this also lines directly up with what we went over a couple of months ago about the Lars Homestead set piece actually being used for a sequence or two in episode 9. So, with that being said, the flash fights visiting the old worlds of the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy is probably the best way in order for JJ to really bring us back to a majority of the worlds that we all know and love in one or two single big scenes involving both Kylo Ren and Rey in this flash fight. Now, the one piece that really stands out to me a lot that sounds quite epic is where Rey is able to literally slice Kylo Ren's back, causing his cape to actually fall off, at least half of it. So she's able to cut half of his cape off where it blows away in the wind. I can only imagine how cool that scenery is really going to look on screen, where you think that she killed Kylo Ren for a second, but in fact it's just a minor injury, where half of his cape just blows away in the wind and he continues the battle. Now, the other thing is that his helmet does in fact get damaged once again in this movie. Now, in case you guys are just tuning in, Kylo Ren's helmet is back in action in this movie. It's not just going to be in there for 1 second, but neither is it going to be in there for a majority of the film. So, it's going to be a pretty big part of episode 9. Kylo Ren's helmet will cover his face for at least the first and third acts of the movie, for pieces here and there, where it eventually gets damaged by the hands of Rey, revealing one of his eyes, similar in a way to what Rian Johnson did with Finn and Captain Phasma during their battle, on the Supremacy ship, where you see one of her eyes before her death. So, they're doing the same exact thing here with Kylo Ren. The only problem that I have with this is whether or not you could really consider this copying, exactly what was already done before in a film that comes before episode 9. So we do know that J.J. Abrams is trying to create a lot of action-packed sequences in this movie, and a lot of drama between both Rey and Kylo Ren. The other thing that really stood out to me a lot as well was how Kylo Ren is actually admitting that Rey is indeed the conflict that's stirring up within him, and that he's not going to make the same exact mistake as his own grandfather. Now, this was a lesson given by Snoke. He actually told Kylo Ren, what the downfall of Darth Vader really was, and it was all about the son. It was all about Luke Skywalker, and having, a certain love for somebody. And Kylo Ren realizes this now, and he admits to Rey that there is a conflict and that he's not going to make the same mistake as his own grandfather, and that's where he continues to fight against Rey. Again, guys, like I say, this lightsaber duel sounds like it's going to have a lot of dialogue in between, where both Rey and Kylo Ren are trying to reason with each other. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.